The shad. We've had so much shad coming out, Ganesh. And I'm talking for hours and hours on end, for days on end.
Scalies, carp and bass in Inanda. Freshwater is definitely looking good as well. And as for the lower south coast, shad and a mixed bag of species.
There you go, buddy. Hit now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green.
Hey, welcome back, anglers. Welcome back to Angler News SA, where this is the hotspot for the week. And we are talking about, guys, the cold front that has fired up the fishing. What in the world are we talking about? Well, we are talking about KZN absolutely rocking with the amount of species that is out right now. Let's start off on the offshore side, right? We do have Geelbek, we've got Darga, we've got Tuna, we have got a ridiculous amount of half carb all around that 5 kilo mark. Brad is going to tell us all about it. On top of that, what in the world is going on? We have an influx of shad. Every one of our reporters are reporting on it. It is absolutely insane right now. Where has all the shad come from? It is crazy. But not just that, guys. We've got cob, we've got Garrick, we have got yellowfish, we have got trout. And what in the world happened to the sardines? Well, you know what? We're going to leave that right to the end, where Adam, who's in the thick of that area where all that sardine action was, what's he heard of? We're going to get there in a moment. Right now, we are going to get geared up for some exciting news from the Kingfisher. So with that being said,
get ready for the biggest shad fishing event of 2026. Join the Photon and Kingfisher shad fishing competition running from 14 to 31st August. With an incredible 85,000 Rand prize pool, you could win 60,000 Rand for first place, 15,000 for second, and 10,000 Rand for third. Entry is only 250 Rand, and entries are open now. Don't let someone else reel in your fortune. Rig up, bring your A game, and make every cast count. Visit kingfisher.co.za, photonsa.co.za, or any of our 8 Kingfisher branches to get your tickets today. The 2026 Photon and Kingfisher Shad Fishing Competition. Gear up, cast out, win big.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. Guys, none of this could be possible without them. Absolutely love it. Hey, by the way, speaking of the Kingfisher Shad competition, this Saturday, 1st August at 8:30, meet me at Blue Lagoon. I'm going to be doing a shad clinic, giving you the lowdown of everything I've learned over the years, the latest tips and techniques, pretty much what you need to know to go and get yourself that winning shad worth 60K. All right, so speaking about all that shad and all the action and all that's going on, while we are talking about Blue Lagoon, let's stick around in Durban with the report from Mike V and Brad Krobler.
How's it, guys? With the unsettled conditions that we've had for the last couple of days, most guys are chasing bronze bream, stone bream, rockcod, that sort of fishing. But saying that, once the sea's gone a little bit flat, it's been all about the shad. They've come in absolute numbers. With them arriving, your game fisher, with them, your Garrick, your cob, odd kingy, things like that have been there. Guys also putting live baits, we're getting a couple of grey sharks down there. But that's pretty much about it that's been happening on the beaches. But the shad have been plentiful on most spots. On the paddle ski and ski boat side, the guys have been in the odd snook here and there. Couple cooters still around, but it's hard fishing for those. The guys fishing on the bottom, you're getting the Geelbek, couple doggers. There's been some slingers and rockcod as well in the mix, so they've been doing all right here and there. Durban Bay, quite a few grunters being caught, couple cob there as well, quite a few snappers. But yeah, the guys are having fun all around. Thanks so much. This is Mike V for ANSA News.
Good day, guys. Brad here from Linsky Fishing Charters. How's the fishing report for the last week of the Durban area? Yeah, guys, on the good news, the half carp have started to show their faces, coming out in quite nice numbers and decent sizes, all from that 3.5 to 4 kilogram range. General bottom fishing, the slingers, soldiers, that all seems to be the regular stuff, some really nice Englishmen. There's been a couple of tuna out in the really deep. Also, the Geelbek are also coming out in some good numbers out on the Glen Ashley flat side and on the Bluff ledges. Yeah, guys, so yeah, the water temperature is still a little bit warm for the silver shoal to come through to Durban. So we're hoping for some more of the game fish to arrive as soon as that does. But yeah, guys, this is Brad for Angling News South Africa, and tight lines, and speak to you next week.
Thank you, Mike and Brad. Great start to the show as always. Love it. Lots of species coming out. Good sizes of that half carb. Nothing wrong with that backhand keel and Daga salmon. And as for the tuna, yeah, we may have to travel a bit, but you know what? That tuna is definitely going to be worth it. As for that other offshore species, the snook are still around. Yeah, I wouldn't expect too much of the kuta and dories, of course not. But yeah, good offshore action, good harbor action. Glad to hear about all that grunter in the harbor. As for the rest of Durban, all that shad. Yeah, it is a lot out there. But glad to report on those grey sharks. So well done, boys. Now, what's happening up on the North Coast? Well, let's find out from the legendary Michaela Daniels.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban reporting for Angler News SA. It's been another wild week of fishing along our coastline, and kicking things off for at Blue Lagoon, where there's still shad coming out, as well as a few grunter and a couple of Garrick, while for the guys at Beechwood, the shad have quietened down, but there's still plenty of inedibles on the bites. Moving up to Virginia, the shad is still coming out, as well as a few stumpies and inedibles, while for our Mklanga anglers, the shad is still coming out, as well as a couple of rays and the odd stumpy. For the offshore side of things, Durban is still producing snook, Garrick, and a few kuta, while the deep is still hot with wahoo. For the bottom side of things, there's still Daga and Geelbek coming out, as well as the usual reds and Rockcods. While for Mkloti, however, there's still kuta, snook, and a couple of Garrick coming out, while the deep is still producing a few yellowfin tuna. And for the bottoms, the guys are still getting into some lovely Daga, Rockcod, Geelbek, and the odd mussel cracker. Moving right up the coast to Belito, there's still a few shad and cob on the bite. While for Richards Bay, the harbour is firing with Garrick, and for St. Lucia, the shad is still around, as well as a few kingies and some Rockcods. For the offshore side, Belito is still producing snook, kuta, and GTs, as well as a couple of Garrick, while St. Lucia is still producing some lovely snook, kuta, yellowfin tuna, and wahoo. That's going to be it from me for this week, guys. Tight lines and have a great one.
Oh, Michaela, can we get a much more greater detailed report? I definitely do not think so. She is an absolute North Coast legend. Thank you, Michaela. Another great reporter coming out of there. Now, while we are on the North Coast, as always, let's chat to Richard. And Richard has a comp going on in his area this weekend. What, 25 grand in prizes? He's definitely geared up and gunning for it. He's also got some information as to what's happening at Tugela should you be fishing that competition. And even if you are not, trust me, it's still worth taking a drive out there and, trying for some of that cob.
Greetings from Labotta's Ski Boat Club at Tugela Mouth. Whilst the shad seems scarce and Garrick hookups are elusive, good-sized cob and salmon are being caught. The recent spring neap high tides, the subsequent strong currents, and the mouth pumping out water, the result has been ever-changing sandbars, spits, gullies and cuttings. So, the difference between an unsuccessful fishing trip and your bucky being full of salmon quota is your ability to read the water for your swim and for your peg. Just turn up and cast long and you're likely that your bait will be on a sandbar. But look at the break in water, the tidal pullback, watercolour, and you'll work out the nearby drop, first and second gullies, where the holes are, and the cuttings with moving water. And that's where the fish are hanging out. This weekend at Tugela Mouth, we're hosting a major surf fishing competition with a 25,000 prize fund. And the winner, in my view, will be that person that can select where to fish and what column height to present their bait at. Looking at the weather and the surf forecast, those that can fish with wave height and tough conditions will prevail. Tight lines.
Legend, you Scottish legend. Brilliant stuff, my friend. Thank you so much for that. I love that advice on where to cast, what's happening with those sandbars, as well as the depths we should consider. Really looking forward to the results of the event. I have no doubt you're going to be telling us about it next week. All right, so guys, that's Durban, that's the North Coast. Now let's head on up to the Midlands with Jan, where he's got some good information, especially with what's been happening with all this rain and this cold front.
Hey there, guys. So, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. And in case any of you had reached that state of complacency that I mentioned last week, along with a jolt, here comes a spit and a spot of rain and a promise, or shall we say rather forecast, of some good snow up top in the Berg, as winter sneaks in a little backhander. If nothing else, A little bit of rain will help settle the dust, and already the Midlands is smelling of petrichor, that earthy smell that fills the air when rain falls on dry ground. And if the forecast comes to pass, fingers crossed here, there will be some good snow on top and even down to some of the low-lying areas, which will feed the winter dry catchments and streams. The barometer is currently making a swan dive of note as the front arrives, but will pick up as the front passes over and hopefully find favor with the fish and get them back on the feed. The balmy weather of late have had the scaly oaks out and about in search of their yellow quarry. With rivers on the cool side and levels low and not much flow, standard nymphing opportunities were limited when compared to the usual spring-summer fishing after the rains. But some good fish came to the net, however. But isn't that always just the aim? And with sizes varying from fingerlings to a couple of fish over the 50-centimeter or 20-inch mark. The Natal Fly Fishers Club is pleased to announce that their website is back up and running and normal service can now renew. The interim solution with an online form for submitting returns reveals that there have been some anglers taking advantage of the balmy weather of late, and along with some obliging fish. One return noted water temperature of 10 degrees C and, quote-unquote, good water visibility, numerizers seen and fish caught. These were in the 11 to 13 inch, that is 28 to 33 centimeter bracket, and up into the 13 to 15 inch or 33 to 38 centimeter class. The woolly buggers in black and olive livery with orange bead head and a rusty brown damselfly nymphs were doing the business. The water quality issues remain at the forefront with respect to discussions surrounding fishing at Albert Falls Dam and along with the Save Albert Falls campaign. We look forward to an in-depth review of the state of the waters feeding the dam and a speedy resolution and remediation of whatever is the cause. On the upside, there have been some reports of carp on the surface. Water temperatures seem to be back on the rise, with local bass water sitting around 15 to 16 degrees centigrade and fish being reported from Midmar, while Greyhound waters are reported to be still on the cold side at 14 degrees C. With a water temperature of 20 degrees and above, it is reportedly to be on fire. Guys, do stop on the Kingfisher in Maritzburg for the best in tackle advice. This is Jan Corrival reporting for Kingfisher and for Anglo News South Africa.
Oh, Jan, what a good report. Scalies and carp, nothing wrong with that. Love to try our fly on some of that carp. And as for Inanda, yes, absolutely. It is firing with that bass. Really good catches coming out of there. Guys, Jan sent me some photos. Really healthy looking fish and beautiful, beautiful sizes. Hey, some of them would be considered to be my personal best. All right, so that's our Midlands, that's our freshwater. Let's head on back down to the salt. Let's get into the mid-south coast. And this time we are with Ray Thompson.
As of today, the only thing I can report about has been shad, and more shad. The shad have definitely started making their appearance in the last 2 to 3 days. And of course, as a Kingfish are having a shad competition, so there's a heads up. Guys, there's been quite a lot of shad in Yoni, Wunkel, places like that. But even Umkamas has been firing with shad. There's been a few small cob around. And of course, old Glower and Schroeder catching a Garrick or two in the Lovo area. Other than that, there have been no big sharks or skates or anything like that. Sardine activity is down low. That is so low. The only sardines I've seen lately come out have been out of our deep freeze here at work. Guys, the weekend coming up looks like lots and lots of rain, which is going to make the water dirty, the rivers dirty. Target species for that would definitely be cob. So go out there, have some fun, and enjoy your weekend, guys.
Thank you, Ray. Yes, shad. Guys, I can definitely vouch for that. Once again, I fished Umkamas over this past week. Literally, within a couple seconds, you get in a bite. It's absolutely insane the amount of shad that is out there. Now, I'm glad to report while I was out there, so many anglers catching that shad, getting quite a few on spoon, by the way. Those spoons are definitely working. Oh, yes, that Gold Falcon, absolute classic. But you know what? The guys are catching it. They're having fun. It's absolute fun, and they're putting it back. So, you know what? Thank you to all the anglers that are adhering to that bag and size limit. You know, the guys that don't even have to measure it. They got the fish. You can see it's small. They put it back. Kudos to them. All right, and as for what's coming up this weekend, yeah, I definitely think the salmon is on the menu. Now, let's head on down to the lower South Coast. We are with the South Coast ambassador himself, Adam Lyon, to tell us exactly everything that's been going on.
Hey, Vanesh, I hope you're doing well, my friend, and everyone has had a beautiful week so far. So yes, fishing's been a bit on the odd side, for a better word, down on the South Coast. That's not to say the guys haven't been getting fish, because trust me, Vanesh, have been getting fish. It's just the sardines. We just don't know where they are. We don't know what's happened. Now, I'm sure if any one of us out there knew where they were, you'd probably be a multi-millionaire by now. That is for sure. However, we had also a little bit of rain, which is good. We've really been needing it. It's been super, super dry. So lovely to see that there's a bit of rain around. Now, the water hasn't been so great, but the sea's picked up quite a bit aggressive, a bit angry, a bit white waterishy, hanging around everywhere, a bit of sand mixing. So not so dreamy, however, a bit breamy, and maybe even a bit of brush up, because that is what the guys have been getting. Thrown into the mix, Eugene down in Port Edward, getting himself a tank of a yellow belly rockcod. So well done there, guy. An absolute beast of a fish caught recently. We've also had a lot of blacktail, also a couple of galjoen or black bream that have been popping up here and there. So really nice to see that the rock fishing still hanging about. Now, we're going to move straight to the boats, and that is going to be the Garrick and the Kingies and the Snoek, because that's what the guys have been targeting. And Lyle recently off Sheppy got himself an absolute monster of a Garrick, a super memorable fish, that is for sure. So well done there, my friend. The guys have also been getting Garrick and Kingies off the rocks as well. So a few game fish in amongst the mix, especially with the rock fishing definitely firing. With Ivan getting himself 2 bull sharks so far this sardine run. So really nice to see him propping up the non-ed side of things. However, the talk of the town and the fish that has been absolutely clubbed a 6 is definitely going to be the shad. We've had so much shad coming out, Vinesh. And I'm talking for hours and hours on end, for days on end. Umton 20, Sea Park, a bit at Orange Rocks, a bit at Margate Pier. It's just, yeah, it's been absolutely wild. They have been the mainstay. They've almost replaced the sardines at this stage. It's just literally been shad, and then a bream, and then a rockcod, and then a bull shark or a Garrick, but definitely shad. Now, guys, we have to please just remember our bag limits and sizes, please, guys. Otherwise, I hope everybody out there has an awesome weekend ahead. Hopefully the weather's going to play its part. Hopefully we're going to see some sards. I know someone's going to get some fish. That is for sure. Otherwise, stay safe, tight lines, and see you all on the next one.
Great stuff, Adam. Hours of fishing, hours of shad, and a mixed bag of fish with it. Nothing wrong with that. South Coast is definitely the place to be. All right, guys, so you know what? Here's a recap, right? So we have got a variety of species coming out of the North Coast, as Michaela was saying. We are talking about Garrick coming out every day in the Richards Bay Harbor. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. I'm sure my friend Vino up there is having an absolute blast with them. All right, so that's Richards Bay. Now, together, yes, there's some cob, there's a competition, sounding good. Durban, lots of shad, lots of mixed bag of species, great offshore action, as well as the grunter in the harbor. The Midlands, scalies, carp, and bass in Inanda. Freshwater is definitely looking good as well. And as for the lower South Coast, shad and a mixed bag of species. So where are you fishing this weekend? Guys, the weather's looking decent. We know we've got club guys going on. There's definitely going to be some club fishing. And if these guys are out there really hunting for the fish, I would advise you maybe making a few calls to your local tackle store, see what the guys are buying, what baits are being picked up, what sort of traces are the guys making up. That should give you an indication of what these pros are targeting. As for what I want to know, hey, where are you fishing this weekend? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments. Drop it out there. Share the love. Share the information. Whatever it is, make sure you're going to be getting out there and get fishing. Once again, a reminder, meet me on Saturday morning at Blue Lagoon if you want to be updated on the latest shad trends. And if you haven't signed up for the Kingfish shad competition, there'll be one of my friends out there that's going to sign you up and give you a little something extra in between. So guys, with all that being said, there's so much going on in KZN. It's absolutely alive. It's lit. It's going to be going on this weekend. The weather's looking fantastic. All that's left for you to do now is get out there and get fishing. So with that being said, until the next one.
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.